Welcome back to the Export Lounge. This is episode 2 of your inside look at the life of an American athlete playing football overseas. I'm Chase. You remember last week that we had Brad Jones as a guest, quarterback for the All Got Comets. He liked it so much and we liked him so much that he's not leaving. He's going to be a new co-host here on the show. I think Brad makes a great addition to the team, decade of experience, all that good stuff. Gabe Quigley, our normal co-host, he is in Croatia eating sliced cheese and meat with his family, so he will not be with us today. But to introduce the absolute stud joining us today, guy I've known since college. Our guest this week just came off winning the FFFA championship, Casca de Diamant, for the Thonon Black Panthers, won finals MVP, played in Sweden, Austria, France, and had an unbelievable statistical season this year. Put up video game numbers in my conference. Ladies and gentlemen, Matteo Renteria, welcome to the show, Matteo.
Yes,
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
So we always start off with the drink. Matteo is from Thonon. Tell him why that you picked the Evian water bottle.
It's right next door, man. It's, drink it, in the States. And came here and they sell it everywhere. I'm like, oh, cool, we have this in the U.S. And they're like, well, yeah, it's the plant is 10 minutes away. So you go, there's this huge, water processing plant. I don't know. And, they pump out these water bottles. It's great water. Highly recommend it.
We are not sponsored by these guys, though, so I'm going to cut that out of the episode. Evian, if you want to sponsor
No free
us,
ads.
No free ads.
That'd be a good sponsor. That'd be a good
So I'm
sponsor.
covering my bottle.
I actually looked into
from.
the plant before this, and I need to start pasting those on this podcast so people can see what you're talking about, because it looks pretty sick. And then,
Yeah, it's
Thonon,
cool.
is it Thonon Les Bains? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, man. Go for
Is
it.
that
Sure.
I think
your guess is as good as mine?
I love
I need
it.
to start
Sounds
posting
great, man.
pictures of these places so people know how cool they are.
Definitely, man. Yeah, beautiful area here.
All right, Matteo, I want to get into everything, your career, the run you guys had this year, but I think we'd be doing you a disservice if we didn't let you talk about the freshest thing in your mind right now, the CEFL final.
Yeah, let's
Lost
get that out of the way.
21-7. Really
Yep.
good Kalanda team. Just walk us through the game, man.
Yeah, just a really weird game. Obviously, it was the last one in a long stretch of tough games that we played, and man, I can say now that it's over. I mean, that was like a video game in itself. Just the intensity of those games, all back to back. It was almost. I mean, it felt a lot like back in college where you had one bye week and you played every weekend. And you didn't get to decide if, playoff deciding games were in the first 4 weeks of the season, maybe the last 4 weeks. So, we had just a great time as a team. We came together and, the last game obviously didn't go the way we wanted, very, very lack of, offensive production. And, I thought the defense played well and those guys, hats off to them. They played with some crazy intensity. You could tell they wanted to win from the first snap. And obviously they got good players as well, guys with some pretty good talent. Would love to, get a little rematch if they would be down, but let's we'll schedule that for next season. I think on one of our better days, we put up a much better fight, but type of team we are, it just sucks going out that way. Kind of the year we had, definitely tough to end it that way because had a great season, 2 great seasons, I guess, like in one, and super proud of the guys. But yeah, I was planning on today to be the day I can put a pin in that and let's move on. And and obviously anything else about the Kalanda game, I'm down to talk about. But that was my take on it. It was a lot of fun, great game, great team. But obviously they came out better than we did that day.
Yeah, and you said it, and I planned on saying it later in the show, but so I got firsthand experience with those guys and in that tournament, and since before even I arrived, I know how bad that those dudes wanted to win that game. Like that's kind of like their sole focus throughout an entire year. I know all those guys pretty well. Coming off of 2 straight finals losses, you got to think that you're going to get the best Kalanda team, and I think you guys certainly did. Was there a moment in that game, because I watched it, obviously. I was out camping. I had it playing on my phone. Any pivotal moment in your mind that was like, man, the game looks a whole lot different if this goes a different way?
I think that would stick out the most would probably just be the red zone turnover early in the game. And obviously it's a little too early to say that was a turning point. But if there's a play I'd like to have back, obviously, as the QB that threw the pick, it was a botched play, a botched snap. And not a great alert call from me, and it was just rushed. And that play definitely, they didn't score off of that or anything. There's another interception later on right before the half that they also didn't get any points off of that. And then we had some fumbles as well. So all the turnovers throughout the game, maybe pick one of those, maybe get that play back.
Yeah.
But as a team that protected the ball all year, man, we really gave it away. And that's to touch back on the game, who's the better team? 14-point loss with 5 turnovers. I've been in some way worse situations in a 5 turnover game. So,
Yeah.
if we can cut some of those turnovers out, maybe we get a different outcome.
I agree. What did happen at the end of the half? I saw Cole Brockwell, American import for Kelowna Broncos. Nice interception on you. They had run out of timeouts, used all of them, and then they caught something on your sideline and then tried to spike. Was there an illegal formation, a false start? Did they not get it off?
I believe their center maybe double clutched,
Okay.
and so our Brazilian Gabish, he blew him up,
Dog.
and yeah, he's an animal,
He's a
and
beast.
he blew the guy up, and I think they called a false start, which was a 10-second runoff, and so it killed the drive for him. Thank goodness for me, so saved me from giving them
Do
some
either
free
of you
points.
know, does the clock stop moving the chains over there?
Yeah. In
It does.
Germany, it does.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to in France.
Was it not a first down, the one that they caught? Was it short of the mark? Is that why the clock kept running?
I think it was a first down, and if they would have stopped it, it would have started again on play, and maybe that's why the penalty ran the 10 seconds off.
Like as soon as the ball gets set, the clock starts again. So like the
Right.
ref sets the ball. So if he double clutched, that's where the 10-second runoff comes from.
From the head coach of Kelowna was irate.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw the same thing. I thought they would have stopped it with the
Okay.
chains moving as well, but
Well, look,
who knows?
Clerical error.
I was just
maybe,
curious.
but yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone's even able to legally fine me, but I think it'd be best if I didn't talk about the French referees. Probably best if I kept that to myself.
We'll move on then. We'll move on. I just want to give, not to rub it in your face, Mateo, but those are my guys, and I was really proud of them. I know how hard that they've worked to get there. Just wanted to give them a quick shout. That's a team who's been chasing that goal extremely hard. And then I have to shout out the imports over there. Tommy Smith, their tight end over there, had a really nice touchdown. I'm pretty sure he was the one who got the interception on the goal line.
Yeah.
And then I already mentioned Cole Brockwell. So shout out those guys. Congratulations. Enjoy your CEFL final. That is well deserved. Last thing I want to talk about on it, and it's not about the game necessarily. We're a room full of QBs here. And Brad, we talked last week with Quigley about homegrown QBs.
Yeah.
Mateo, what were your thoughts on Robin Senrick, the Swiss quarterback?
He had a really nice rushing touchdown, and I believe he was doing a pretty good job of like extending plays and making some tough throws. I think with a lot of the QBs out here, that's usually what the good ones excel at. I feel like you don't really see a bunch of pure pocket passers out here. So pretty much, a word of advice as a QB coach, if he would really dial in that, his pocket passing from in the pocket there. I mean, he's a good player. I thought he showed some really good stuff.
Yeah, really young cat, and I love that
Is
you
he
said
young?
there's
Yeah,
not a whole.
I didn't know really anything about him.
Yeah, super young, local Swiss kid.
Nice.
Kind of was just a backup and the U19 stud, and then just recently came up to their men's team. So he's had a hell of a run since he started playing. First Swiss quarterback ever to win a Swiss national championship.
There you go.
And I also love that you said there's not a whole lot of pure pocket passers. You're looking at one right now.
Where I don't.
Brad's not much of a mover.
This guy. No,
You're
I'm
not.
not.
Well, but you're not a. I'm talking about the
Even
European,
Europeans. Yeah.
like the natural born European guys.
Yeah. I knew
I'm
what you meant.
I'm a pocket passer. What are we talking about?
He
No, I
can't
know what
sling
you
it.
meant because most of from my experience with the younger European quarterbacks, is their first instinct is to be an athlete, and so pocket presence is something you learn when you're young, and you learn that playing tackle football from the time we're 10, 11 years old.
Right.
These guys don't play tackle in most leagues until they're 18, 17 years old. So the pocket presence escapes, and that's why you get an athlete like some of these guys I've played with or seen. They're like incredible athletes, got cannons for arms. They got all that kind of stuff. But the moment there's any bit of wavering in that pocket, they're out.
Yeah.
And so, like, to your point, if you could get that, and I think we talked about that last week, Chase, is like the X's and O's part of it and just that comfort of being in a pocket. You can make some of these European athletes elite quarterbacks if they get the quarterback part of it down. Not saying that the Kalanda one doesn't, but clearly a great athlete and a great quarterback. But imagine if he had our experience as a pocket passer or just knowing the pocket for a decade. That's where the difference becomes, I think.
Agreed. The mental, the cerebral part of playing a quarterback
Yeah.
is what's lacking. And, I feel like I think there's a problem there in the state and here in the States as well with that.
Oh,
But
yeah, definitely.
we won't get into that.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on here. Let's get to the good stuff, Mateo. We already talked about it. FFFA championship, your first championship overseas. Unbelievable performance in the finals. You looked like the old Mateo, because I told him I've gotten to keep up with you throughout your career. And you were very good at facilitating and just being really good engine for the offense this year. You didn't always have to show the Mateo that I knew, which was,
right.
let's make something happen. So
Yeah.
talk to us about that game. Walk me through it. You're down 17 in the fourth. Just try and forget about the CEFL. Go back to that FFA championship. Talk about it.
That's very easy for me to do. Yeah, let's talk about the champion game that we actually got it done, and that was the most exciting football game that I've ever been a part of. I think a lot because of the implications of it being a championship game and everything in the whole season leading up to that and everything that came with it. But also being down 17, I mean, it's a big comeback, but just the way that the team and the guy like Kev he might be right over here. I mean, he's my roommate. He made 2 giant turnovers for us. The D line got some pressure that forced him. That's my other buddy, Gabish, and can't forget our tight end, right? He doesn't really get to be in the spotlight, but he was out there doing stuff too. Making things happen. And but it was just crazy the way the offense just clicked, the defense clicked, and they definitely helped us out in a couple ways. But just being able to come out on top in a game like that was different feeling. With the CEFL right behind it is a little bit difficult to really take that win in. But now that we're digesting the last game that we played, now the only thing that's kind of left that I can feel is that that sense of accomplishment. Being proud of what we accomplished in the French League, and definitely looking forward to seeing what the future holds. But right now, just kind of living in that moment. It's been pretty nice, especially we getting win MVP and all that as well. Had a great performance myself, so just a great experience overall.
So
go ahead, man.
Going into, I've been familiar with Thonon. I had one of my best friends play there. He's one of the junior coaches. So I know those guys.
You were talking about that last time, yeah. Felix, love that guy.
Felix is one of my best friends, and I know Toby, Liam, like a bunch of the guys on the team from Felix's wedding and all that. And Larry, I've talked to in the past when he was back in Geneva, and now going into that fourth quarter, being down 17. You guys have been kind of a wagon all year, right? You've faced a few tough games here and there, but you're in a point. You're down 17. Fourth quarter, you know what you're capable of. What's that message like from Larry or from you or from the vocal guys of the team? Was there ever any panic, or were you guys pretty even keeled the whole time?
I wouldn't say panic. Definitely some, a couple of looks that you can't hide it on a team like this where we've never really been down. The only game we lost was, a match at the end of the season where we were already the first seed. Whatever.
Right.
If we played our guys, did we not? Whatever. And so we'd never really been in a situation like that. And the young guys or the guys that don't know me, we haven't been on a team for a long time. They start looking at you like, are you gonna do something, or are we about to lose? And did I get a couple of those looks around that time? Yeah, there's a couple, but the thing that stood out to me was, the players on our team, Adele, Pap, the number 22, the D lineman, Ben, our linebacker, guys like that who I'm very, I love those guys, very close with those guys, as teammates, but, they're defensive guys. We maybe didn't get to hang out as much as some of the other offensive guys did. But for those guys to come to me in that moment and just really put what felt like to me just some pure faith in me of, hey, we really think that we can do this. to me, I hold those guys in high, I hold them very highly. They're really great players and great people. So for them to come to me in that moment and kind of hype me up a little bit, and then I got to give a big shout out to the biggest Knicks fan in the world over there, Justin. He came to me in the fourth quarter. He said, hey, "Be like the Knicks," and in that moment, I'm not even a basketball guy, but I was following the finals with him, and I'm like, I hate that he's right in this moment, because I had to snap out of it for a second and be like, yeah, he's right. Just be like the Knicks. Let's do that.
Right.
So I guess the message, let's go with, let's say, be like the Knicks.
Yeah. Well, tell him he's lucky he didn't have to see the Sirs at full health this year, or else they wouldn't have
Sure.
been there.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
I'll let him know.
I'm glad you brought him up, actually. That's somebody I wanted to talk about. You had a really good tight end in college.
Oh, yeah.
All-American dude. And you guys clearly, throughout our entire rivalry, let's call it that,
Sure.
where you and I just kept facing off, I feel like I always had to watch that guy go for like 18 receptions and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Shout
Is
out
this your
Cole
first?
Hissong for sure.
Shout out that guy. What's he doing now?
He's taking care of his daughter and his beautiful wife, and I believe he's handling some finances with. Maybe he's still working with the GOAT Batman from Worcester, our running backs coach, and Coach Adams. So I don't know if he's still working with him, but I know he's in the finance world, I believe, somewhere, maybe in Tennessee. Sorry, Cole, I don't keep up with you that much, bro.
Yeah. Well, if you ever do catch up with him, give him our best. But
sure.
is this your first American tight end since him with Justin Marcus? And then tell me about your guys' relationship.
Yeah, I believe it is definitely my first American tight end since college. Obviously, don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but let me double check that. Yeah, definitely the first one. And playing with him, definitely a lot like playing with Cole.
Yeah.
Except this guy, obviously a lot older. Me and Cole were buddies back when we were kids. This a lot older, more experienced guy. He played at Nova, higher level program, got some really high level coaching. And you could really tell with his game sense. You wouldn't be able to tell watching the film, but don't tell Coach Larry either. But there's a good amount of times where we've got emotion attached, and maybe I forgot it, and he would just kind of jog over in motion. I'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot I was supposed to do that. So having a guy like that out there during the game. A lot of times, watching the live stream, you'll see me and Larry chatting, and then you'll see him kind of pull up in the background, give his insight. And I'm not gonna say we never took his, maybe it was his play that we ended up going with. So he just a super smart guy, and then obviously capable of doing what we needed him to do on the field as well. So 100% very lucky, very grateful to have had him on the squad this year. He's got a big part of that championship is because of him.
Yeah, was he more of a blocking tight end? I felt like I just saw him planting dudes and not really
Yeah,
getting,
definitely. Yeah, he was, in the pass scheme, big time, if he was out there running routes, but, in American import fashion, he drew a lot of safeties, helping. You saw, we bombed a lot of guys, deep posts, safeties getting nosy. Watching him run a seam route that we never threw all year, but they still jumped it, and so he did a great job of pulling guys down in coverage. And if he missed reliable third downs, third and shorts, he was always there for a first down reception. So he was he knew his role, and he played it really well. And also definitely every time I turn around at practice, he's got a guy over to the side talking to him through a run scheme, a pass concept, whatever it is. Really, really helped the other tight end we had on the team. He was basically coaching him on the side. So definitely Swiss Army knife guy wore a lot of hats, did a lot of jobs, and he pulled a lot of GH counters. So
I
a
love
lot of
me a good
GH counters.
counter. I mean, that's got to be, and we don't talk about it enough. We talk a lot about performances and looking at contracts and all of this stuff. But one thing we also talk to guys about all the time is, hey, half of your job over there is to improve that club that you're on and coach those guys up.
Yeah.
So hearing that he's doing a good job in his first season overseas, that's good stuff. That's refreshing to hear that he's already taken on that role
Yeah.
without anybody telling him to, really. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. Larry does a great job recruiting, and I think Justin's a big evidence of that, because the odds you get a first year guy that's ready to do the things he did. I think it helps that he was with, I've been out here for a while, so I was able to kind of, show him the ropes and he was in a lot of our offensive meetings in the beginning of the year, and we're just sitting there talking through stuff, and he kind of realized, like, I'm the tight end, like I don't need to be in install meetings. So but in terms of me and him watching film and stuff like that is, big big deal there. So definitely, I don't know why. If I had any advice for the European football in general, is fill up those import spots with tight ends. I mean, you could probably get a badass guy to pull and on GH counter who could definitely double as, like a linebacker or a defensive end, get a really good two-way guy, good body type to be out here and just dominate. So, I mean, I think a lot more teams should probably invest in tight ends if they could.
Stick them out number one at the boundary. Just let them go get it.
You can
Right.
do anything with them if you get the right guys, definitely.
Well, you talked about playing your role and doing things the correct way. I think that kind of encompasses your entire season here with Thonon as far as, dude, you had, what, 1,500 plus yards and 25 touchdowns to 1 interception ratio in the regular season. Do you think that this was your best season so far overseas? Not just counting the championship, obviously, just you personally.
Right. Oh, no, the championship's just a cherry on top in
Right.
terms of understanding defenses, seeing coverages, seeing, blitzes, being able to slide the line where I need to slide it, get the running back involved, get him out in the pass pro, whatever it is asked of me as a quarterback, like making checks at the line. I know it sounds crazy, like playing at the college level, but like I was not a very developed QB back then because I didn't have a quarterback coach. I had an OC who was dealing with he had twins. He was an OC. He was trying to design the offense. He didn't have time to babysit young Mateo, who was you remember him scrambling around and running all over the place. That, believe it or not, those were
It's
not
annoying.
designed plays. I believe it, man.
I wish Zonka was on this podcast right now.
I do too. This guy's always wrong. He finally picked us and we lost. Like I got to have a word with this guy. He's always wrong, dude. He's got to retire. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him on the picks anymore, bro.
Shout out Zonka. We love you, buddy.
Shout out. Yeah, I miss that guy. I got to spend like a day with him down in Mexico. It was awesome. He's a super cool dude.
Oh yeah. What was that? Like a money grab all-star
exposition game, random. Yeah, I don't know what. They asked me to do it. I was free. I was like, yeah, sure. Go down to Mexico and hang out.
I remember watching that game. And then Zonka sent me videos of the bus that you guys took from the airport, like to where you guys were staying.
Yeah.
I've seen better spots.
That was wild. Wild stuff, man. Should have just drove myself.
Speaking of friends of exported athletes, and we've already kind of talked about it, you went through a gauntlet of Ferenz, Iron Mask, and then Kalanda, which is 3 really tough opponents.
Yep.
You also had to play the Marseille Blue Stars in the semifinal, and it's 2 really good defensive Americans. I mean, Sterling Sheffield played in the NFL, and then Jamal Williams, who was an IFL headhunter. Both 2 really good guys. How did you guys game plan for, 1, an edge rusher like that, but 2, an enforcing safety, on the back end? 2 defensive Americans.
Fun fact, number 8 was actually down in that game in Mexico as well with Zonka and
Jamal was really?
Yeah, he was down there as well. That was I didn't realize it. I walked up to him in the coin toss. I was like, I definitely know you. So
yeah, did he say anything back?
He didn't at first. He's like, what? Like, and then after he's like, wait, you were in Mexico? Yeah. So super big coincidence. That's been one of my favorite parts about being part of the overseas life is everybody immediately somehow. So
yeah,
very cool stuff. But but game planning for those guys, probably the most fun week of the season. Getting to work with Larry game planning was really fun for me. Just watching how his brain works, learning so much about offensive scheme from him. But with I'm gonna call him 2 and 8, just so I don't have to try to remember everybody. Yeah. So with 2, and up front, he's obviously somebody that we had multiple chip calls for him with the running back or the tight end. Wherever they were on the field, if they got a certain verbal call from me, they were gonna go chip the running back. We had a deuce call where we're gonna get our guard over there into the slide or away from the slide to go help with him. So our 3-man slide became a 2 different slides. The running back would then fill in the middle. So it's like we had some answers for him to try to keep him as, because he just disruptive, not really playing a certain style. He's just out there disrupting. And we caught him with some misdirection stuff, kind of got his aggression, used it against him in some ways, and, kind of kept him away from the point of attack as much as possible. And then I think with all that game planning into him, we didn't have time to to get around for 8. And, I think me and Larry kind of had the understanding that it was going to be me and him because of the defense they played, right? The
Mhm.
3 high kind of thing with him just
Yep.
hanging around in the middle. He's staring at me. I'm staring at him before every play. So it was kind of like, I know what your shell is behind you, and wherever you go, I kind of got to go away from you, or, attack wherever he left,
Right.
that zone, whatever it was. So I think me and Larry split the responsibility. He took number 2 and lost a lot of sleep over that guy, and then I had to play against 8 all day. So we had a trade-off there.
I like it. Did you ever
I mean,
have to? Yeah, go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Greg.
Chase.
No, man,
All right.
I was
No,
calling on you
just
anyway.
all right, good. No, so like you talk about how you game plan with Larry, and he's been around the game for a really long time. And from what I've heard from Felix and just my conversations with Larry, is the guy's got a ton of knowledge. What was it like getting to work? I mean, I know you were in Graz and Stockholm before, but getting to work with, like, I would call him a European legend at this point, like
Yeah.
a Euro legend of the offensive scheme and the game. Because the stuff you guys run is not, I wouldn't call it your typical
No,
European
yeah.
offense,
No
right? Your
way.
typical Euro offense is the spread stuff. Here in GH counter and all the misdirection and the different checks at the line from watching the games, because I used to watch them all the time when Felix was playing, and then just talking to Larry. What was that like for you going from, Graz or Stockholm, where I'm sure the offenses were much different, and then having to kind of change your brain a little bit to understand where Larry's focus is, and then implementing that in your brain and being like, okay, now I see what he's got going on. Let's rip this.
Yeah, no, I could talk for a long time on Mr. Larry there. He's the craziest part is I just came from Graz and I had an American OC there.
Hmm.
Rick Rhodes, older guy. He had some big programs under his belt. He like coached at Mississippi State and Alabama. He had some really big names under him, and he had won some championships out there as well. And I think it really opened my eyes to coaching styles. I've always heard that coaching styles, coach, and I'm like, there's only one way to coach guys. Like you just coach. Like maybe you're loud, maybe you're not, but like I wouldn't call that a coaching style. But I really learned like the generational, that difference between like, this is my offense and I'm going to shove you into that offense and you're going to be the battery and now go and run the offense. Like that was my experience in Graz. It was a great offense, great scheme, but it wasn't built for me. It was just a good scheme. Like, I mean, I ran it decently well. We got the playoffs, had a decent year, but I wasn't really comfortable there. That's the biggest thing that is insane to me here is the offense is 10 times more complex, 10 times more in depth from one concept is built 10 different ways with 10 different concepts off of each of those different ways to run it. Yet it's also with what we ran and how it was still somehow tailored directly to me as a quarterback because of Larry's experience and his openness to, and I think that's more is less as a coach sometimes when it comes to being better. Sometimes take a step back. You brought me here as your import. You think I'm a good player. Well, maybe ask me, what do I like to run and what do I like here? What do I not like there? And let me help you out. And just being able to work with him, I would be his, assistant OC, and we go to an NFL squad and give us a shot, because the way we worked together, it was very, very, just mutual, throwing in, throwing out. And he definitely hit me with what the F are you talking about right now? We're not doing that. And I'm like, you're right. I'm way off the rails. And, I never say that to him, but I maybe would, the silence would be a little loud when he'd be like, well, what about this? And I'm just staring at like, there's no way we're running that. Like, I'm checking out of, I'm checking out of that immediately. So he's like, okay, we'll trash it. And it just, again, I could talk for hours about, in those meetings and what it was like to work with him, but just like his, it was like one of those universal outlets. Whatever the day needed, whatever the meeting needed, he was going to make sure that we had whatever it was going that we needed to get something done. And there was just never one of those meetings. No shade to my college, coaches or anything, but my other European coach, stuff like that, sometimes you go to a meeting and you're like, yeah, I would have rather took a nap. I'm a tired guy,
Yeah,
just went to the
right.
gym. I need some sleep. That would have been a good nap. And instead I sat there and did nothing. I really literally would, not be able to take a nap because I was worried I cannot oversleep. I got to go to this meeting with Larry maybe a little early to soak up as much knowledge as I can, because right on the flip side, I'm going back to the States to be a coach. And this year alone, I feel like my ability to coach these young guys that I get to work with has shot up exponentially. So super exciting stuff getting to work with Larry.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Where are you going to coach at? You go back to Worcester?
year 3 at Teal College in
Oh,
Greenville,
yeah.
Pennsylvania.
How's that
So
going? Are you quarterbacks coach?
yeah, I'm the QB coach. We'll see what the final title is at the end by the time this next season starts. Had some coaching shifts here
Okay.
late. I'm basically just sitting there with my hands out, like, give me more of this. Give me more of this D3 offense. I want to run it. I want to run it so bad, but I don't know really what I'm doing yet. So we've got a really good OC there that he knows how to run the show, and I get to just play with the pass game and get in that room with the QBs. I've been, on the days that we don't have practice, hop on a Discord meeting with my QB room back in the States, and we, we'll watch some film from my games out here, or we'll, maybe go through an install for fall camp, getting ahead, just, biting at the bit to get back out there and get back to some more football, believe it or not.
That's good. Yeah, we need to talk about that later when we get into what's next for Mateo Renteria.
For sure.
One thing that we do want to do on the show, we want to be all about the import and talk about the import story, but I do kind of want to implement some generic info and what's going on around Europe. What's the
Sure.
landscape looking like? Where are we at? And you're a perfect person to start this with because a lot of these things that we're going to talk about, you have firsthand experience with them. So first and foremost, this weekend, Italian Football League Championship, we've got Firenze Gelfi versus the Parma Panthers, one of our Game of the Week selections. I mean, you talked about it with Zonka. Do you want to be the guest for this week? Show him how it's done?
I mean, I'll definitely wipe Zonka up, but that's a lot of pressure. No, I'll take a shot at it for sure. I've
All
been
right, we got our
I've been trying my best, keeping an eye on as much info as I can. Your channel's been great for that. You're definitely, I'll give you a little feedback. The the Italian guys are interesting. They're not that interesting. It's a lot of Italian football, but I love it. That league is awesome. Those guys have been super cool to keep up with. But I've gotten to keep up with them more than anybody, thanks to Exported Athletes
I'll
page
be
there.
honest, I try my hardest to find, like, the best games, whether that's not,
Well, they
like, the
put
most
out good media
competitive.
though.
That's true.
That's the first year that they've done that. We shouted them out last week. I need to put
Yeah,
that clip out. They've done a bang-up job, and it is a
great
complete
job. Yeah,
180 from what they did in years past. But it's funny that you say that because we did have a lot of IFL this year.
a lot of it. But hey, it's good stuff. But yeah, no, I'll give the picks I'll give them a shot.
All right. I appreciate the feedback. We will definitely take that into account. But back to it. We've got that championship. Parma, Firenze. You got to see Firenze not, less than a month ago. What do you think about
Yeah.
that team? How was it playing them, I guess, comparatively to Iron Mascane and, Kalanda, maybe the rest of the international games? What do you have on them?
Yeah, so that was a game that was, not really as, I don't know. It was definitely a big challenge offensively. We still, had some struggles, but we definitely kind of had our way a little more so than those other. The game, though, that was just one of those games where our defense had a tough time. That QB they've got, he's an athlete. That kid's a really good football player.
Simiani, I believe.
Is that his name? Yeah,
Andrea.
yeah, you can't miss him. He's got the tassels
Yeah.
on the sleeve. That's all I'm gonna say there. That is what he wears during games, and that he's a good player though. So I guess he can wear whatever he wants.
Is he
I mean, while
Italian?
you're on that,
right?
I think he is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But
think he is. Yeah.
but I think I noticed something on you. Do you wear a scrunchie on your throwing arm?
He does.
Yeah, man. That's it's hidden right now. Luckily I can't. It's holding the webcam I'm using right now. It's
Nice.
attaching it to the water bottle that I'm using as a
Multi-use
stand.
tool.
Yeah, but yeah, the scrunchie is it's mine. I bought it at the store, okay, with
You're
my own
talking to a
money.
long-haired guy. No shame, buddy.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I just chopped mine off. Yeah, we're all there
Same.
with you.
Oh, whose scrunchie's that? I'm like, do you not see the lettuce, man? I grew this out for
I
a
gotta
reason.
have it.
And
Yeah.
it's hot. It is hot out here.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm sweating right now. I went with the hat, and which was a mistake. It's hot here, but I'm glad to see we're all hat guys here. So blending in.
Is the lettuce something new, or is that something you've had for most of your career?
It's been there for as long as I can remember.
All right, so
I
yeah,
don't
you're one
remember
of
you were
us.
short
You're
hair.
one of us then.
Oh yeah, I'm a long time member.
Long-time member. I just want to do this because this is fun.
Yeah, it's fair.
Throw Firenze against Kalanda. You throw Firenze against Iron Mask. How does that go? Like, were they a team that was through and through really good, or just were they able to put up points?
I think they were able to put up points. I don't know, man. They it's kind of the obvious thing with the Iron Mask, that offense that they have. Holy smokes, those guys were exciting to watch. They don't do much against those guys, and the Iron Mask defense was pretty good. They gave us some tough moments, but I think the Frenzy team would be able to put up some points against them. So that one would be a barn burner for sure. Kalanda, they play a little bit of a different style. I think that'd be a really sick game to see.
I agree.
Kalanda versus Frenzy. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about you said you listened to last week's. Brad and I got into it quite a bit about how much we have the disdain we have for the AFLE and the EFA and all that stuff, and how I would
I like
rather
that
watch.
section.
Yeah.
You like that one? Do you
Yeah, it
agree?
was a great section. I think I agree. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think I have a really simple way to put it. The NFL did not just become the NFL. I mean, back when it started, it was a bunch of guys that got together to play ball, and they loved it, and they went around, they got some sponsors, everybody started coming to the games, and it grew. They're trying to just create an NFL and dress it up and make it look like an NFL. That's not what it's, I mean, it's not how, I don't think that's how you do it. I've never built a league, so maybe don't ask me.
We could
But
try.
I love the idea of, man, imagine if you cleared house and sent all those domestic guys back to their own country, not, I'm not trying to get political, like send those guys back to their own countries and let them play for their homegrown teams. And yeah, you throw maybe a couple change the import rules around a bit. I think that would make for an insane brand of football. And yeah, maybe a couple of the top athletes, take some pay cuts here and there. But I think, maybe let's go to like a star player. I don't know what you would call it, but like a franchise tag. Sorry, I don't even know how that works in the NFL. But like, for example, Peyo, my receiver here,
Yeah.
dog. So stamp that guy with like almost, whatever an import tag would be, even if he's a homegrown for Thonon, like he's a certain guy where, okay, if he were to leave or go to another team, like that team's got to compensate something, like he's then holds that weight. But Germany has been going for years. I would say Austrian league's ready to go. Italian league's obviously ready to go. Swiss league's obviously ready. I mean, these leagues are ready to go. So why are you taking their top talent and skimming them? I mean, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. I don't think.
Doesn't, not a bit. And you said it, like,
So.
I would go and really invest some time to go watch Kalanda play for Inns.
You're not like, when I watch, so I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. So when I watch Dallas Cowboys, I'm a fan of that team. That's why I watch it. That's such a small percent of the viewership in the NFL. A majority of the people that watch, a Bills game, or not a majority, sorry, a huge portion of the people that watch a Bills game are guys like me. I want to watch Josh Allen throw a football. I want to watch Patrick Mahomes play. I want to watch Tyreek Hill, blaze by guys. I want to watch Justin Jefferson, these guys, go torch people. You don't really have that in Europe yet. Like, I'm sure obviously there's great athletes, but you don't have the fan base, you don't have the popularity yet to have fans turning on a game to watch the best French receiver. And that's also what robs these guys. Where's the best receiver from France right now? Like, where is he? Is he
Is
on the
it
Musketeers?
Kaya?
Right, you don't even know.
I have no idea who it is, and that's the problem. I feel like
I don't know.
I would
Right.
know who it was if it was the French national. Who's the bad MFer on the French national team? Okay, that's the best receiver in France. But if he's out playing for the Munich team, I won't know that. I don't. He's just a guy on a team now. So I feel like
Right.
they don't represent as much. But I feel like that's my 2 cents on it. I think it would be really cool to see some of the countries kind of band together, put a little more support into their, homegrown league, and then basically just take the CFL. It's already what it is. Just take the CEFL and blow it up a little bit. And then, as that keeps going, then you can really, really taper it, way down the line. If you've got teams that are so dominant or whatever it may be, which I don't see that really being possible in these small countries, like, if you got a team that's that dominant, send them to the NFL. I don't know what to tell you, but let's cross that bridge when we get there, right? I'd love to see the domestic leagues do a little bit better job of competing with each other and building those leagues up to to then go play some national tournaments or something like that. I think that'd be really cool.
I've got something planned, and I don't know if I'm going to do it after the German Football League is over. Early in the exported athletes days, I got bored one night, maybe some extracurriculars, but I've made a my dream CEFL bracket, and it had,
Okay.
Potsdam, Dresden, Firenze, Thonon, Paris, Schwabisch, like the best domestic teams. And I
Right.
have that bracket. Once these seasons are over, I want to how do we think that would have gone based on
Right.
their performances this past year? So
Yeah.
I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool
Stay
to
tuned
see.
for that. Viewers, our
Yeah.
30 viewers. We actually got okay views on the first one. I'm not mad at it. 30 views, not terrible. We could do better. Here's
Gotta
what,
start somewhere.
we got to start somewhere, Brad. Mateo, appreciate you helping us grow our following, buddy.
I brought at least one viewer with me. He was on the last episode as well. That's shout out KJ. That's my dad, biggest supporter of my whole life and career. Great guy, big supporter of you and your page and the podcast. He loves all of it.
He DMs me all the time. That guy is awesome.
He's a
loves
great
it.
dude. He's a great dude. Be prepared. You say something negative, he'll come with that same energy.
I like it. Keep me honest.
Oh yeah.
So we talked about the Italian league. We didn't get an official game pick from either of you. Are we still sticking with Firenze, or do we think Parma and Rum and Fuller can knock them off?
Not as familiar, I don't think, as either of you guys are. I just know the Firenze has the local quarterback, and Parma was in a shootout, right? In that semifinal game, I think it was like 42 something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, against
It was a 1-point
Torino.
win, right?
It was 42-41 or 43-42. I don't know. I think just to go on the other side, I'll take Parma. I'll be the contrarian.
Yeah.
To be fair, Mateo, I've always picked the Black Panthers. Every game I had, I picked you guys. Just a
I
heads
saw
up.
that, man. I saw that. I appreciated that. That support really helped us. In those tough moments, I was like, Brad
Can't let down
picked us.
Brad.
Brad
picked us
knew.
here.
Brad's all about the Black Panthers, man.
No, I got to make Zonka wrong.
Yeah, that's also probably part of it,
Yeah, this last game I was torn, man. I didn't know what to do out there. Zonka picked us, so I just felt like it was out of my hands from the beginning.
So you're rolling with Firenze?
Yeah, I'm rolling with Firenze. I think they're just a very well put together team, and the attack they have with their QB is just tough to stop. The +1 in the run game is tough to stop unless you really commit to it, and they can throw well enough to hurt them if they do overcommit to that. So really, really like the guy from Parma. He is fun to watch, but they're a little too chaotic for me to call them champs. But I'm rooting for them. I hope they can get it done, fellow Panthers. But I'm thinking Firenze get it done.
Yeah. Roman Fuller, shout out that guy, import quarterback for Parma, has been
Yeah,
swinging around the yard this year. If he can get going, and I think they can make it and turn it into a track meet.
Yeah, he
produces.
So if they're humming, it'll be a good game.
Yeah. And then also I'll shout out Stola and Acid, number 11, 2A imports for them. They're receivers for Firenze.
Oh yeah, those guys are good.
Really good. Here's another team you have experience with. We've got the Garage Giants. Found themselves as the 3 seed, I believe, in the AFL playoffs. They play Salzburg.
Yep. Wild card, yeah, against Salzburg coming up.
Yeah. So you were there. You guys also made the playoffs. In my experience, and I want you to speak on this, you guys have been so close just to being a top team in Austria, and I think you guys are sneakily one of the best teams in Austria. Were you guys also struggling to get over that hump, just to take that one more step, and what do they need to do so in these playoffs this season?
Yeah, we talked earlier about natural born European, homegrown European QBs. They've got, in my opinion, maybe the best one out there in Austria, and Mr. I think it's Bastian Steinman, something like that. That kid, he can sling the ball. He outthrew me I'm a very competitive guy. I know it's a European guy, but every practice I'm competing with him still. I got to keep myself sharp somehow. So I lost to that guy most days. I mean, he would make more throws than me during practice, like more accurate, on the money, zipping the ball around. He's a really good player. So in terms of getting over the hump for them, I think they took a big step in. They signed an extra American skill guy who I didn't see him on the starting lineup a couple weeks ago.
It's not Eddie Morales, is it? It's a different one?
I think his name also might be Eddie, but his last name's Gray. I'm pretty sure his last name's Gray. He was a running back, and he was playing pretty well. Looked like he was making some plays, but I didn't see him on the starting lineup the other day, which they have another Austrian guy, Fritz Beckman, who is one of the best guys I played with. Incredibly hard to tackle, super fast, really good player as well. So they're not hurting if that guy's not there, but I don't know if something happened to him or not. But I think signing those two offensive skill guys, building around their QB, that defense is insane. Probably one of the best in Europe. I would love to see the overall comparison of Thonon and Graz, because I think they're very, very similar in personnel wise. I think, to be honest, Graz might have edged us out there just because they've got it's like if you were a creative player, the heights and weights of their whole defense is what you would do. Like, they all fit the mold. Like, okay, that guy looks like a nickel. That guy looks like a corner. That guy looks like a nose tackle. Like, it's all very nice. They play really well together. And shout out their linebacker, Franz. He's one of the best athletes in Europe. He's one of the best linebackers I've ever seen play. So he's a great dude. But I think that what they did this year with their offense, with the imports, they got a coach in there that I think really works well with the guys from what I've heard. I think they've done enough. They struggled early in the season. They've been rolling ever since. So, I don't know if they're going to be favorites or anything, but I'm throwing my money on them. Eddie Morales is going to get the job done. That kid's one of the best guys I've ever met. So, definitely pulling for those guys.
Brad, do you know anything about Austria?
But not as much anymore. I know that Vienna, their second team, runs with local guys. I think I know more about the Prague team, the Black Panthers, that are there from Czech. I know the quarterback they have, Amos. He's also a homegrown. He was 15 when I was in Ostrava. He's from that team, so I know him pretty well. The running back was my running back in the Czech, so I know those guys pretty well. They're a pretty well-oiled machine, as we know and seen over the years. But in terms of Salzburg, I don't know much about them. And in Graz, I know their defense, like Mateo said, I have seen their numbers. It's just kind of like hard to score points on those guys. So it'll be interesting to see what happens the next couple weeks. And then Austria is just, I think they won the European tournament championship, like just the
Yeah, I think so.
the national team.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're the national team champs. So, I mean, that just speaks to what they got to have on most of these teams. I mean, granted, they do have the two teams in the whatever leagues, but you can only have so many guys.
Prague.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm pulling for Graz. One of their older coaches I used to talk to quite a bit, Cody Kent. I don't know if he was there when you were there.
No, I've talked to Cody a bunch over the years. I met him at the coaching convention in Charlotte.
Yeah, so he was my one connection to there at one point or another. But I love the color scheme, so I'll root for blue and yellow all day.
Here we go.
Lastly, on our game of the week picks, kind of just talk about what's going on around Europe. We've got the Swedish national champion, Super Syrian is the league, I believe. Teresa Royal Crowns versus the Stockholm Meme Machine. Former team of yours. I know who you're going to pick, so I'm not even going to ask you. Sweden is not the most well-known domestic league. You've played in it. Can you talk about just the concept of imports, or does every team have two? Is it getting more competitive? Where does the league look like it's heading? From your experience, tell the average viewer who has never heard of Swedish American football what's going on up there.
Yeah, so when I was there, we had an American import receiver, Matt Retzlaff. He's been there for a long time now. Great dude, really good player.
Great hair.
Awesome
great
fella.
hair. He's got the guys give him a hard time. He's like an Instagram model to them. They love him. He might be one of the most famous guys in Stockholm at this point. But the import rules, I think it's the same as France. Two are allowed and they can be on the field together if they want, but I'm not 100% sure what the actual rules are now. Also, I don't know if they've changed. I know Stockholm has the same layout right now, so that's why I'm assuming it hasn't changed. They've got Retzlaff and another American QB. I think his name's Dawson Hurl, something. I think he's the guy replaced. I think he's the guy that replaced me when I went down with the knee injury, and then they ended up sticking with him. So it's good to see those guys getting back to. Are they in the? Is it the final?
Mm-hmm.
Next
coming up,
right? They just beat the Black Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
and Karlstad fell to Teresa, which was kind of an upset, I
Yeah,
think.
definitely. Karlstad's been the top team over there. They were the champions the year that I got hurt. But yeah, no, I'll pick Stockholm. Sure, I know. We played Tier, so they weren't. I don't think I played them. Maybe I think I was already hurt. But I know a guy named Peter on that team, so I'm picking against him. Picking against Peter.
Sorry, Pete.
Just you, Pete. So we're going Stockholm. Always gonna ride. I love my guys out in Stockholm. Still in good contact with those guys, especially the old import house there. That was a sick experience. Definitely the best import like experience I've had. The best overall experience has been Thonon, without a doubt. But like in terms of the skeleton of it, when I was in Stockholm, we had like a little townhouse with like 5 bedrooms, a full living room, full kitchen, a backyard with like a grill. It was really, really nice. Very cool.
What's that like?
Dude, don't let me. I'll tell you all my experiences as an import man. It's been great. I don't know why I feel bad when I hear so many stories from imports that are
Right.
like, I lived in a shack and I ate,
Yeah.
toilet water and bread or something. But I'm like, man, I've been treated like royalty out here for the most part. So it's been nice. But yeah, no, I'm taking Stockholm. That's my final word there.
All right. Go Meme Machine. That actually segues us perfectly because we're going to talk about your journey, how it started, and then just kind of take us on a walk through it. It was St. Alamone. How do you pronounce it? The Cougars was your first team, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you also graduated from Worcester December 2021 like me, correct? You were the 5th year, same as I was?
I believe I graduated my last season. I think was 22.
Did you play a year after I was gone?
I did. I believe I
Okay.
did play one more.
Okay. So you leave Worcester, had an unbelievable career. How did you get to France? What was the conversation? Who hit you up? How'd you get
Yeah,
there?
so it was actually, so COVID backed everything up a year. So my senior year was my junior season. We played Wabash, and their quarterback was Liam
Liam Thompson.
Thompson.
Real
You
quick,
know
he's about
him.
to be the IFL, the Indoor Football League here he's with the Green Bay Blizzard. They're like
Yep.
top of the league. He's like
I saw
first
that.
in MVP voting.
There we
So
go.
he's
Nice.
stud.
He was always a stud, always really fun going against him. Of course, in this story, I will be the victor. So don't worry about any other times we face each other. But went to their place. Amazing game against those guys. Big shootout. I think I threw like 400 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he had very similar stats. Scored a couple points less than us, and there was a guy there to, I believe, scout him for the European, circuit. And he, I just happened to have a good game, and so he threw my name in the ring, and an agent from a company in Florida, an LLC, this guy named Xavier Moss, got in contact with him. He put me in contact with the Cougars and sent me an email, and I sent him an email back, and then he sent me a contract, and I sent him that back. And then 2 weeks later, I flew to France. So that was how it all
So
started.
you're one of the first people that I've talked to, and it's definitely on this show being our second episode. I really would like you to dive into, because you used an agent. I didn't use one. Quiggs used me, and I don't think Brad ever used one. What's that like? What's that relationship? What are you paying for his
So
services?
so I think what happened was, I think that guy worked for the team that signed me,
Got it.
because I never paid him anything. He never took a cut of my, I got my full check each month. I never, nothing ever came out of it. So I was not paying him. So I've never used an agent either. I've always just used Euro players. That's always been the easiest way. I talked directly to Larry like that. Talked directly to Coach Picorni, and I talked directly to Coach Peelback in Stockholm that way. So that, that website, shout out to them. I'm pretty sure you guys probably know of that site, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Right, everybody does.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
shout out
just
to them.
something you have to be careful operating because there has been so many scam situations going on. So
Yeah.
I usually tell my go ahead.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to. Never mind. I was probably gonna insult somebody by accident. So yeah, let's go next. If you get scammed on that website, come on now. What are we
Yeah,
doing?
fair.
But I whatever. No, I'm not gonna say anything.
But if they don't know, then they don't know. And one of the things that we try and tell them is,
I was
Yeah.
being mean. I was being mean. There's a lot
What
of
a bully.
scams be careful on there. Definitely, do your research though. You're a Google search away from knowing if a guy's involved or not.
Right.
Correct. And the easiest thing I tell them is connect on Euro players, get off of it as soon as possible.
Right. Yeah.
WhatsApp,
Yeah. Get to
Instagram.
WhatsApp,
Right.
get to Instagram, get on a FaceTime call, Zoom meet with the guy. If you're a football player, you should want to talk face to face, maybe go through some film, do something, right? If you're trying to, and kids these days in recruiting, the same way they want to text, it's like, I got to meet you. I mean, I'm trying to bring you onto a football team. I don't want a phone number. I need a person. So you're being recruited. Get on a FaceTime call so you know what the guy looks like and you guys can meet. It's definitely the best way to do it.
That's literally what it is, gentlemen. Do your due
100%.
diligence, research, get off Euro players. It's a great tool to meet, and then get out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll keep going chronologically. We play in France, northern France, on not the best team in the north, and it's so competitive up there. This would actually be a really good. I just thought of this off the rip. We're shooting from the hip today.
Here we go.
Obviously, the most dramatic difference in the world I can imagine playing in the Northern Conference of France, going from the Cougars to Thonon. What is the number one thing that was just the most stark difference between the two? I know there's a billion things that make the BP better, but what's the one thing?
I'm itching to say it. Going to practice, showing up to practice. I still get hot about my days with the Cougars, and I hope, obviously, hope that they all see this. Go to practice. You will never be a good anything if you don't go to practice. So these guys show up every day, to every meeting, to every lift, everything. There's even like a morning session at a private gym that they have us imports working out at. And on Tuesdays and Friday mornings, the team is allowed to, not mandatory, but they're, given access to show up there early in the morning to work out. We've got 15 to 25 guys there, and a good percentage of the other guys that aren't there are probably at work. And, they work hard here. And I mean, big surprise, they're extremely successful. That's with me completely removed. These guys are hungry and they get after it constantly. But biggest difference, that commitment to winning. I think you guys talked a good amount about it last time, like a hobby versus, a livelihood. This is what these guys do. They play ball, they win games, they win championships versus, we are smoking cigarettes in the parking lot and drinking beers before and after practice. And I'm like, well, I have an idea. You could just quit and you could just drink beers the whole time and not piss me off. That would be awesome. But then I would have lost my whole team. So that's the big difference, I would say, is just like, and then I guess it has a lot to say with maybe, that kind of segues into coaching. If you don't have coaching, same difference. They supply that backbone organization to practice, planning out stuff, watching film, all that. I mean, if you don't have that, can you be a good team? I'm not gonna say you can't, but like, can you beat a team that does do those things?
Well, it's funny that you say that, like showing up to practice and just having that good foundation with the team. And then you talked earlier about Graz just having the type of guys that definitely feel like they deserve to take that next step. Did you also experience the same things in Graz as you did with Thonon?
Same thing in Graz. Oh yeah, those guys grind. Those guys love football and they want to win games. Those guys fire me up. I love football. I tell a lot of people that you almost are a little embarrassed to say it when you're younger because like if you don't make it to the NFL, then you didn't, But like I have fully dove into my whole life is football. Oh, that guy makes his whole personality football. Yeah, that would be me. I love it. It's my favorite thing. And when I get to meet guys over here in Europe that are back to that true, nowadays it's all NIL, it's all contracts, it's all, these guys play for the love of the game. And I like to think that's why I also play here in Europe and it fires me up. I mean, I love it. These guys, the guys in Graz, same way as in Thonon, and shout out to the Stockholm as well. Sweden, not as big of a league, not as intense, but that team would rival Graz, I think, in terms of the way that they ran things and the way that they practiced. At least the guys showed up, they worked hard. I mean, they did some silly things. They're doing one-on-ones like every day. I hope they've stopped doing stuff like that. But like they got after it. They loved to play football. So all the teams I've had success on, very very similar theme of love for the game, love for what we're doing. Versus, it's a hassle to get a guy to come to a film meeting or, show up to practice. It's very frustrating.
An issue. It's funny that you said the one-on-one thing every practice. shout out to Marseille Blue Stars. They're going in the right direction. They have some really good local guys.
Yeah, they were
And
doing
obviously brought
one-on-ones
in some interleague.
before the semi game. So
Or here's I got one for you. The first practice Zonka and I show up because him and I got to play in Marseille together. I've got Joe Zonka, the NCAC Defensive Player of the Year freak,
scary
doing
guy.
one-on-ones with our center at the exact same time that I'm doing one-on-ones with the receiver.
Smart.
So he is trying to beat our French center, trying to get to me with it's just one guy. There's no front five. And I'm trying to throw one-on-ones at the same time. I got absolutely crushed by Zonka.
And they're just
Our
letting him
first
hit you?
practice. He didn't mean to. He's just doing what Zonka does. It's just a
Right.
bull in a china shop just going crazy, and my R comes down right
It's
on
probably
his
a
helmet.
dream for him to
Yeah,
smoke you at practice.
he saw a JV center in front of him and nobody to
Yeah.
help on either side. So I
That's a
totally
dream come
understand.
true
Let's
for that
stop
guy.
doing that stupid stuff over there. European ball clubs. Let's
learn how to
practice
practice,
smart.
learn how to stretch and warm up. It doesn't take that long.
No.
Please. Please
I've
do
never
some
heard
high
of that
knees, bro. Let's get
one-on-one
out of
versus
here.
one-on-one. That is crazy.
I got
Yeah,
out
I've
there.
never
I'm
even
like,
heard
what
of
are we?
that drill.
That
I've
is
never done that one.
bananas.
There's a good reason why you haven't.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't think anyone
Yeah.
does that.
Wow. Okay.
So you two are both playing / just finished up playing, and I've gotten to watch you both substantially, which has been nice. Brad, I was introduced to you through Quigley. Mateo, I've just been following your whole career, and I'm a big fan of Thonon myself.
Yeah.
You had a really good, clean offensive system, and Brad talked about it on the last podcast of talk show of they were kind of trying to shoot from the hip because if you remember, they were given a playbook this thick.
Right. Yeah, I remember. I was like, what could
160 pages.
possibly be in there?
I'll send it to you guys just so you can. Have you seen it, Chase? Like, have you actually
Gabe
seen
sent
what's
it
in
to
it?
me over the summer when I was
Okay.
working them out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'd love to
Holy
see the
smokes.
comparison between Larry's and this one, Mateo. I'm sure. I mean, I've seen parts of Larry's too, so I know how that's kind of organized. But if you see this one, you'll be like, what am I supposed to do
I'd be
with
interested.
half of this?
Larry's, it's not all in one spot. There's like either he'll have his one, and then you got to go down like a secret staircase and into a secret door.
Yeah.
It's hidden. There's probably another one, and then another secret door. Because that like all season, I would like mention a play like, oh yeah, I used to run, like a little, fake, inside zone, pull a tight end around, run an over route. He's like, oh, and he flips through his notes, pulls out a binder, and then pulls out a sheet of paper. He's like, you mean this? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we ran that in 1991 against the German team in the championship. And I'm like, he's like, I had green socks on. I'm like, this is his ability to pull knowledge is insane.
It's
Bro,
incredible.
he's a great guy. I like get him on here, get him on some podcast. People need to hear this guy talk. It's insane.
I would love that.
That'd be awesome.
Both of you guys put in a good word. Get
Yeah,
him on here.
I'll let him. I'm going to dinner with him here in an hour, so I'll let him know that he's got to hop on the podcast here soon.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about, since we've got 3 experienced veterans, as for, particularly from your two's point of view, since you're more current playing than I am, a little bit of advice that you would give, Brad, to the OCs of the Argyle Comets, your former OC, to try and be more like Larry as far as, hey, we've got something that we're really good at. Let's be really good at this one thing and then continue to build and do it in a bunch of different ways. Instead of having a playbook this big where we're doing a million different things, get really good at one thing and expand upon that. Just any advice that you would give to OCs listen to this, if they ever do. Something in your 10 years where you're like, hey, when I come in, like, this is what I want to see. Like, if you want to be a really good offense, this is what we've got to do.
I think for me, it's helpful. Like in your case, Mateo, Larry's there all the time. He's been there. He knows what he's got personnel wise. A lot of it for me is personnel. What do you have to work with? The OC that came in with 165 pages wanted to run a power run scheme. We had one running back. It required 2 most of the time. It required a tight end that could be multifaceted. It required a big old offensive line that could push the run game. For me, it's what pieces do you have that you can, be the focal point of the offense. In our case right now in Algoy, it's Quigley, right? It's our American, and it's our other American who doesn't count as an A, Chris Lipsy. That's kind of where our focus is on because of what we have around us, right? So like that's why I'm envious, and I don't like to be envious of many things, but I'm envious of what they have in Thonon because it's a well-oiled machine. And Larry, like you said at the beginning, he tailored some things to how you are as a player. He doesn't expect you to come in and be like, all right, it's this, 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 and this, and it's not a dictatorship. It's a conversation. And to me, as an OC, that's huge. You need to understand everybody personnel-wise, quarterback, receiver, and make do with what you got. So in our case, what we have is two excellent playmakers, and so we try to make that the focal point. Do the other 9 pieces always work? No, but that's what we have to continue to evolve with, and that's where having an experienced guy would be more helpful, or that would have a pulse on the rest of the offense. Whereas for me and Gabe, we're only 2 guys, and it's hard to do 11-man job as one guy, trying to piece things together. So I'm kind of jealous of what Mateo gets to go through with Larry, just because it's clearly it works and it sounds awesome,
Definitely, yeah, it's pretty nice. He's a great coach. He's the best coach I've ever had, and that
Yeah,
goes for American, European, anything like that.
yeah. I think that's rare too, though, in Europe. Like, it's rare to have someone with that much experience and understanding of what you have, because us three, we know this isn't home. This isn't America where you can pick out 5 offensive linemen that know what's going on, 5 receivers that understand space and releases and concepts. So to have a guy that's been around forever like Larry, it's like, oh, this guy gets it. He understands.
Yeah.
So you can roll in there as a quarterback, and you have experience over here already. So you know what's going on in Europe, but then you get there and it's like, man, I kind of almost have to Americanize myself again, because we get over here and you de-Americanize for a little bit. You have
Yeah,
to
definitely.
change your mindset, right? And it probably speaks to the fact that you get there with Larry, and it's like, oh, I gotta almost resharpen my tools because this guy knows what's going on. He expects more out of me
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
he holds
Yeah.
the French players to the same accountability level as you. And then you look what you have. You have a great season personally, but then as a unit, it's just a great
Right.
offensive year. And that's what you get with experienced coaches. So I think that's what offensive coordinators should kind of look at a guy like Larry, is find something that works. Like in your case, a lot of GH counters, things like that, and then build off of your personnel. For us, in other places I've been, it's build off the quick game, build off the air raid, and then run off of it, or vice versa.
Right.
So I think that's the big thing I would say for most OCs out here. I hope I answered the question properly, Chase.
I love when you ramble, dude. You've just laying on me, and I
I
appreciate
spit, dude.
that.
I got a lot going on in this head, man.
That's how it is,
Got a
man.
lot going on up
QB
here.
life.
On to, I like the rapid fire. I saw somebody else do it, so I'm
Yes.
going to do it.
Rip it.
Mateo, I'm just going to start spitting questions, kind of the first thing that comes to your head. This will be 8-ish questions. We'll just see what happens. How you feel?
It's a dangerous request, but we'll go. We'll do our
They're not
best.
tough. They're not tough. Coolest stadium you played in?
Well, that's tough because I've got to know the names of. It's got to be. How do I pronounce Thonon Stadium? Stade de Monat. Come on, French guy that's standing right there. How do I pronounce it? Stade de Monat. Stade Monat. The stadium here in Thonon, the field is beautiful. There's like background mountain, backdrop.
Yeah,
super
pretty sick.
nice, and the lake is back there too. Super nice stadium.
Toughest
My
team you've
favorite.
played against?
I can't say a different team because the team that popped into my head is the Danube Dragons. They kicked my behind twice in Austria, and they would have done it a third time, but we didn't get to play them in the championship. So we didn't have an answer for them. They had a D-line. They brought an American guy in. Love that dude. He was a baller, and he harassed me for 4 quarters, even when they were already winning. He did not stop bothering me. So that guy's a beast. But the Danube Dragons.
What team has the best unis in all of Europe? Any league?
Ooh.
Best unis in all Europe. Man, I like the Vienna Vikings team and the what, I don't even know what league they're in now, right? Sticking to the issue we have from earlier. ELF.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, back to the
ABC.
issue.
Yeah, back to the issue. And also the letters they pick, the acronym they pick sucks. Like, it sounds bad.
Yeah.
Just call them the alphabet soup league. Like,
The LF.
throw some letters out.
I'm trying. ALFE. AFELE. I can't. All right.
AFLE and EFA.
AFLE. Okay.
Yeah, it's terrible. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Bad one.
Book or show you've been reading or watching while over there? Strike me as an
Then
anime guy, I'll be honest with you.
what's up?
You strike me as someone who, likes the anime shows.
Yeah,
I
big
I
time.
do. I
Yeah,
do.
no, definitely, watch Doctor Stone over here.
Nice.
Different vibe for me, different show, but it was very, very interesting. I think it made me smarter.
One player, import or otherwise, that deserves more attention that you've encountered.
I mean, Eddie gets a decent amount of attention, but I think his versatility as an offensive weapon, literally as a drop back and throw quarterback, he played in high school. He has a sick arm. He can really throw. I wouldn't build our offense around him. You know, he's not that good. Let me check him first. But like trick play wise, you know, different packages, wildcat stuff, run the ball, throw the ball, option the ball, throw him the ball. Great, an amazing receiver. On defense, he's a ball hawk, extremely smart guy, studies the game. So, maybe we'll go with Eddie. Love that guy.
Return specialist too, isn't he?
Yeah, 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 return specialist too. And I bet you if you asked him to punt the ball, I bet he could do that. Which we haven't talked about I mean, I'm a punter too, but whatever. You guys don't care about punters,
Yes, I do. I punted, in
right?
Kalanda, dude.
I got.
Okay, see,
Oh, yeah.
we
We
got to
punt.
shout punters.
Quarterbacks
pinned
punt.
him with
QB's punt.
pinned him within the 5. No big deal.
There we go.
If there's one thing, housing, pay, team culture, in your experience, that if it's not right, the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, team culture, sadly. There's no amount of money you could pay me to live across the world and have no friends. That's almost torturous. I've had, certain and I've spoke great things about Gross, those guys, but like there's a way younger base on the team. Very difficult to be, besties with those guys. So, luckily Eddie was there and luckily we got really close with they actually brought Val, who's from here in
Mhm.
Tanon, to Graz. So the three of us hung out, had a really great time, had a good time in Graz, but like the team chemistry wasn't the same as these other teams I've been on, right? In Europe, I feel like it's more common for, the teams to be around 25-ish,
A
right? A
little
little
older.
older, maybe a little younger. But another shout out to Graz, super young team also, probably
Yeah.
one of the youngest. If you had like that list that you've got like of those great teams you'd love to see play, I'd be
Mhm.
very curious to see where Graz is in terms of average age because last year it was like 21. I mean, we
Wow.
had like 5 starters that were like 18, 19 years old, maybe 20, and the rest of the guys were 22, 23. So I was like the oldest guy on the team, which was not
One thing you would tell your rookie self first season overseas, if you could go back.
Let's see. I think you can't be greedy and boastful. So if you want everything, right? You want championships, you want a good contract, all that stuff. You've got to really work for it. But I think something very important over here is even when you're trying to be humble, whatever you think humble is, yeah, be like Jesus. You can go lower. You can humble yourself more. Wash their feet. Teach them the basics. Respect the coaches, even if they have an ego for whatever. You're a French guy, you played 2 years and broke your leg, and now you're telling me that I'm doing something wrong at practice. You know what? You're my coach, so sure. Right back then, had some rough goes with that first French team. Do I think right? There's a magic way that I could have made that into a championship season. I think we could have made it to the playoffs if I would have changed a few things, but we were missing some pieces. Right? You think do I think we would have beat a Tanon that year? I don't know about that one, but we were missing some pieces, but we left a lot out there on the field because, I let your ego as an American, take over. Um, and as much as I thought to myself, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to be the guy that comes and brings the team along. I allowed my environment to seep into me a little bit too much. Take advantage of the time that you have over here because it's nothing like it. You really are in an echo chamber of football. You can train and learn and play. That's all you have to really do. That's what you're getting paid to do here. So dive into that. When I was with the Cougars, it was a lot of, I was writing up game plans, writing up practice plans, setting up, making a playlist for a film meeting, and then 2 guys would show up. I let that I went into I started acting like them. I stopped watching film. I stopped caring about practice. I, wouldn't even tie my cleats up, right, stuff like that. It made me a worse football player. So and in turn, I kind of like in that way, I wasted my time there. I loved the experience. It taught me a lot about playing football over here, but the way that I would, take accountability for the time that I wasted was I stopped working as hard. I let the team culture that was negative take over my own personal football culture, and I think that's I know I'm probably going way off topic to get back
No, it's
to like
great stuff here.
what I'm saying is like you've got to be able to stay, high mentally of I'm an American, I'm the probably the best guy on the team. These guys are looking up to me to play without letting that pull you away from who you are as a player, which is show up and work hard, right? Which I guess is cliche, but right, just stay true to yourself. That work ethic that got you there is what's going to continue your success in Europe. Don't just show up and expect these guys to do it for you and you just kind of fit in as an American. Like you're going to have to work. That's why they brought you here. You wonder why they're paying you. You're going to have to do a little bit more than you did in college because you didn't get paid back then. So it's just economics.
Yeah.
Just come here and do your job.
We ask every import this question. If you could address all the clubs over in Europe, what is one thing that they need to be doing more of to grow the appeal and the level of football overseas?
Community involvement. I don't know if did I steal that
Love that.
answer from last
Mm.
time? Okay. Yeah, I'd say community involvement. And maybe it's the, American capitalists that I've seen my whole life, doing little league, high school, college, like we did car washes, bake sales, raffles at the get like I don't know, squeeze squeeze your communities for some involvement. And whatever free thing you can put it on. Get people around so they'll buy into the team. Thonon has an insane community. I love it. We won the final, right? I got an MVP trophy and I got to go into the shops and people are, calling me MVP. I walk in, I'm like, this is awesome. But even during the season, right? Hey, great win this weekend. Good job, right? Hey, Black Panthers, woo, like that kind of thing walking around as an import. I mean, that's insane. I mean, you imagine getting that treatment anywhere for any reason would be enjoyable. So Tanon, probably one of the best communities out there. I would love to hear some other teams that have a great fan base that really supports the team. And of course, it's easy to support these guys. They win a lot, but I'd say community involvement, get the community involved, get them out there, get them spending money to support the club, but, make them a part of the team. That way they really feel, entangled in the success whenever you get to that
I
point.
love it. Great rapid fire there, Mateo. I love it, dude.
Let's go.
Well done, sir.
So we've got, man, heck of a show we've put on. We're going to end it here. What's next for you, Mateo? I know that we're going back to coach Division III football. Can't wait to get our quarterbacks right. Are you coming back to Thonon maybe? I know you would probably, but what's next?
Yeah, so they like I said, I'm going to have dinner with Larry, some of the other imports here in a little while. So I think they're interested and maybe bring me back. I'm interested in coming back. But I think we'll go through the recruiting process and kind of see, I guess, what's out there. But everything will have an asterisk going forward. Is it better than Thonon? Is it worth leaving Thonon now? Has become a checklist item. Is it worth leaving Thonon? It's gonna be tough, but we'll see. There's a price. Start shooting me prices. Start showing me contracts, baby. There's a price. We'll see if,
Well,
if somebody.
add this to your checklist. Tell Larry he's more than welcome to come on. That would be an absolutely insane guest to have. I'd have to do a lot of prep for that one to make
Yeah,
sure that
really.
I think he'd.
we
I think
deliver.
he'd really love it. Honestly, I'll ask him, but I don't want to put him on the spot. But I really think this is the type of thing. Especially you guys know ball and you guys know Europe. I mean, I think he'd be a great guy to have on the show. I think he's very, very important for the game of football in the future for Europe. They got to make sure they squeeze some more out of that guy before he decides to retire
Hang it
to
up.
who knows where.
Mateo, thank you so much. Guys, if you're watching this and you've been thinking of playing football overseas, follow us on Instagram, Exported Athletes, or check us out on exportedathletes.com. We exist so you don't go in blind, and you get really good information from guys like Mateo who have been doing it and doing it at a high level. Mateo, FFFA champion, finals MVP. Thanks for coming through, dude. You're the man. Really good talking to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead and flash
Know
that
how
for
to flash
everybody.
'em.
No big deal.
No big deal. Just some Black Panthers
A
stuff,
big
right? Another
deal.
day at the office for these guys here.
Brad, thanks for your co-host chair, buddy. Good to have you on
Absolutely.
full time.
Happy to be
Gabe,
here.
wherever you are, I hope you're enjoying it. That's all this time. We'll see you guys next week.